Well, it's May, so you know what that means. It's E3 hype season. So if you're watching this video, then I'm assuming you know what E3 is. But in case you don't, E3, or the Electronic Arts Expo, is the biggest video game convention hosted annually in Los Angeles each year. Every year, all the biggest game companies come together and announce all the biggest titles they have planned for the rest of the year, and for the upcoming year. Or at least they used to. What once was the biggest event for any gamer is now slowly becoming less and less meaningful each passing year. As a huge E3 and gaming convention fan, I hate to admit it, but I think E3 and its necessity are slowly dying. More and more companies are opting to have their own announcements before or after the convention, so that they can have all the spotlight rather than having to share it with other game announcements. This is a trend that has been happening for a few years now, but I first noticed it last year with the announcement of Life is Strange Before the Storm. This prequel to Life is Strange was announced 2 days before E3 began. At the time, this seemed so strange to me since they could have just waited 2 more days and announced it at the convention. But then it dawned on me why this happened when I saw Life is Strange trend on Facebook and Twitter. Since it was the only game announced that day, it got all the press. While it was announced 2 days later, it ran the risk of getting overshadowed by bigger titles. It took me a while to catch on to this fact, but it seems game developers have caught on to this a while ago and are starting to shift their marketing focus because of it. For example, take Nintendo's E3 presentation last year. The main focus of the presentation was Super Mario Odyssey, a game that was confirmed months earlier at the Switch reveal. The main focus was to show gameplay of an already announced game to get fans hyped for it. Now, since Nintendo is launching a new console that year, you could call it a fluke, but this year will be the same exact thing with the new Super Smash Bros. If it had been a few years earlier, I guarantee we wouldn't know anything about Smash until E3. As of now, Nintendo may have a few surprises up their sleeve for E3, since they are probably releasing another heavy hitter this year, but with all of May and 2 weeks of June, they could easily hold an Animal Crossing or Pokemon Direct and announce the other big holiday game weeks before E3. With Nintendo Directs, Nintendo can announce any game they want whenever they want, and with the use of social media, it could become trending and seen by millions of people within seconds. That seems to be a much safer bet than relying on people tuning into an E3 livestream. Nintendo is one thing, but what really has me concerned about E3's future is that Sony is taking the same route. Just 2 years ago, Sony had a jam-packed E3 full of amazing announcements. But this year, Sony announced that its E3 presentation would be mainly focused on 4 already announced games and have a few third-party titles sprinkled in. It is also worth noting that Sony has had major success with PlayStation Experience, an event they have hosted for the past 2 years in December. This event is a mini E3, but with only PlayStation games. They even host a press conference identical to an E3 presentation. This makes me believe that going forward, Sony will choose to announce all major titles at PlayStation Experience when almost no other game announcements are being made due to the holiday season, and get all of the attention of the press because of it. This approach is even being taken with individual developers, since Activision just hosted their Black Ops 4 community reveal event rather than showing off the game at E3 like they normally do. And Square Enix held its own event to announce the Final Fantasy XV release date rather than announcing it at E3 like everyone expected. It's unfortunate, but I think E3 is beginning to slow down and become a shell of what it used to be. Realizing this, they have decided to open the event to the public, something that would have been unheard of a few years ago. Doing this will ensure the convention survives, but it will also make it more like a fan convention like PAX or Comic-Con, and give companies even less incentive to announce games there. Going forward, I think all major games will probably be announced during each company's individual events, and then they will simply just show more gameplay at E3. Kinda stinks that E3 isn't what it used to be, but with online streaming and social media becoming the new norms, it was only a matter of time until the all-in-one gaming convention became obsolete. So, what do you guys think about E3 and its future? Tell me in the comments below, and also be sure to subscribe for more videos coming soon. And I will see you guys next time.